the 15th episode of my knitting podcast. For everybody who is returning, thank you so much for spending your precious knitting or crafting time with me, or whatever you're doing. And for everybody who's new, a very warm welcome here. My name is Anastasia. I am originally from Germany, but I have been living in the UK now for almost 2 years. Yes, time is absolutely like just running. And prior to that I have been living in Iceland, and therefore you will find a lot of Icelandic wool and Icelandic style of knitting here on my channel. But actually not at the moment. At the moment I'm doing loads of different things. So I'm still test knitting one pattern, and I am participating at the Sock Madness, which is a sock knitting competition. So this is still going on, and that is keeping me very busy. And yeah, I have quite a few things to talk about today, and I would love you to stay a bit longer. If you want to find me on the internet, you can do that on Instagram and Ravelry. Just search for the name Free a Sheep and you will find me there. And I asked you last episode if you prefer the live chat to be at the beginning or at the end, and most of you actually said that you prefer it at the beginning. And so I'll just keep it like that. I will include a timestamp so you can skip forward if you want to jump straight into the knitting content. I totally understand, and after all, this is a knitting podcast, so if you're just here for the knitting content, please just scroll forward. I won't be offended. Yeah, it's absolutely lovely at the moment here in the UK. The temperatures are rising, and we have had like glorious sunny days. Especially here on the southeast coast, we have quite good weather most of the times, and we get at least like a couple of hours of sunshine during the day. And very often in the morning the weather is absolutely amazing, and sometimes during the afternoon it gets a bit grey. Actually yesterday we had a lot of sea fog, which was quite a thing. You could actually see the fog between houses, so we were literally like almost, I felt like we were in a cloud. But yeah, it is amazing actually now with the temperatures being getting warmer. Living at the seaside is such luxury, especially at the moment with all what's going on. We can just go out and enjoy our time. And actually we're quite lucky here in the UK. I know a lot of you here are again in different kind of lockdowns and restrictions, but here we are very lucky that everything is starting to open up. So last weekend the weather was glorious, so we went for a walk, and then we sort of ended up like going to different kind of pubs around the area, which we are still exploring because we have just lived here for 6 months, and during the 6 months everything was closed and we couldn't do anything. So we're just exploring our neighborhood and what's going on in this area, and yeah, absolutely fabulous. So that has been very nice. I took my knitting with me. Okay, so at the moment you can't sit indoors, but you can sit outdoors. With the weather being so nice, that was no problem. So I took my knitting with me, and I knit a few rows in the pub. Actually I was watching, because I thought I was watching, I can do that even like, I can even do that outside in the big garden, no problem. But the problem was that the temperature was just a bit too cold. I had freezing fingers, so didn't get much done. And then I actually realized that I didn't really know with which kind of needle I had swatched, so I had to rip it all back. Never mind. Well, but yeah, it's just great to be outside and do a little bit more things. And yeah, I'm thinking about maybe starting to paddleboard. So the sea is still very cold, so I'm still waiting for that to warm up. But yeah, I'm tempted to give it a go. I've done paddleboarding before in much warmer temperatures, so I'm curious. It's nice to be looking forward to something, so I really like that. So I think that's it for the live chat, and I think we can start with the knitting content. There's not more I can tell you. So the first finished object that I want to show you is actually the one that I'm wearing. And you have seen that before in some, I think in 2 episodes I've been talking about it. And this is the Senecio top by Life is Cozy. I've tested this pattern for her and she has released this pattern now. Oh my god, this is probably one of my most favorite knits that I've ever made. Generally, like, the knitting was quite, well, it wasn't like an easy knit just because the amount of different stitches, so it's not completely mindless, no, but I really can value the time that I've put into knitting this top. The Senecio top is inspired by the string of pearls, yeah, that's what it's called, and therefore it's got a lot of knobs. The knobs are a bit different, so, like they are the top knobs here on the beginning of the yoke. They are a bit more popping out, so you use different techniques to do them, and then later on, like on the sleeves, they are not popping out that much just because you knit them in a different way. And the whole top, I'll show you. So it's like a bit like a mix of slip stitches and knits and purls and increases and decreases, so it just gives you an absolutely amazing texture. And the fabric is a bit like stretchy, like a ribbing, so it sort of hugs the body. And depending obviously which size you knit, and if you knit it a bit looser, then it won't really have that effect. But I really love how it's quite fitted, but not in a way that you look like cramped in, but it's like just a very nice look. And I'm looking forward to actually combining it with different clothes. So at the moment I'm just wearing like a high waist jeans, but I'm thinking of, like, I already look to buy maybe a couple of nice skirts and high-waisted like culottes. These are a bit like wide-legged trousers. So yeah, I haven't bought any clothes for like I think over a year. So I've bought the occasional like second-hand thing online, but I didn't really buy clothes. So I'm really looking forward to changing my wardrobe a bit. It's absolutely time. I really need a few clothes that I just want to exchange that I had for ages. So I enjoy like having hand knitted very special items that I can implement in my wardrobe, and then use other basics that I just buy to just make a full outfit out of it. But yeah, I hope you understand what I mean. I was thinking about maybe giving that away, but actually this is something very precious to me now. The yarn that I used is a 100% alpaca yarn that my mother gifted me quite a while ago. It is like a chained yarn, and it's the first time that I've ever used something like that. I was not amazed at the beginning because it is so delicate, so sometimes I would like pull like single strands of this it's like a knitted a chain, well, it's a chained yarn. So sometimes you would pull some out and then obviously you can't really get them back in. But I have to say, after blocking, this worked out super well and I'm very, very pleased. This is like a sport weight yarn. It has 165 meter on 50 grams. Yeah, and I've got another 6 balls of that. Actually, I should have really used it for like a cardigan or something. And that was my initial idea, but then this test knit came up and I realized actually I've got sport weight yarn in my stash enough to make this top, so I thought I'll just use it. So if you have a good idea for a sport weight yarn pattern that doesn't use too much yarn, let me know. I'd be very, very grateful. As I already mentioned, so when I was blocking or after blocking, I was quite amazed. I'll insert you a picture or maybe even a video of how it looked pre-blocking. So I was very curious how it would change, and I'm super, super happy with the final result. I will also insert you a picture when I was wearing the other day when we were going out. We were walking on the beach, so you can have a look how it looks worn. And yeah, the Senecio top is available now on Ravelry, and if you're looking for something that is a bit, it is not a mindless knit, but it is something that is like really rewarding because you put quite a lot of work in it. So the knobs, they're quite time consume. Bloody hell, time consume. I'll leave it. You need a lot of time to knit these. But once you're like sort of like past splitting the for the sleeves, then it works super well, and then it becomes quite mindless, to be honest. So as soon as you split for the sleeves, you don't have to think anymore, and you just knit it how long you want it. So I went for like an in-between length. I think the pattern was saying for my size to knit it like 15 centimeters, and I went for 26 centimeters, I believe, and then the full length was supposed to be like 30 centimeters. So yeah, I just went a bit in between, and I'm really happy. I think it just literally just sits above my waist, and I can wear it with like a high-waisted trousers, jeans, skirts. So it's very flattering, I think, at least, well, I believe. That's about the Senecio top. Oh, actually, before I finish talking about it, Ksenia, the designer of Life is Cozy, she is a really talented designer. I love knitting her patterns. This is actually the second test knit I did for her, and I have another project on my needles. I don't know if you remember that I won a pattern of hers on Instagram in a giveaway, and I still have it on my needles. I didn't finish it because I have to rip out some other project to be able to finish that one, which is the Bun Pouf. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. And I haven't done that yet, so, but that's sort of like a UFO waiting for me to get back to it. I really like, I have it in the back of my mind and I really want to finish it. That will be one of my priorities during the next months, but yeah, her patterns are very clearly written, and I like that you get a written instruction and always a chart as well. She's very good in responding, like test knitting for her was an absolute like dream. She's always very quick in responding, which makes it a lot easier. So I love yeah, the interaction between designers when, well, she's just a lovely person. So that was a very nice experience, and I'm so happy with the result. The next finished object is my second sock. Well, it's actually not my second sock, actually it's the fourth sock pair for the Sock Madness. Let me have a sip of coffee. I'm sorry, I made myself a coffee before and it was burning hot. I couldn't drink it before. There we go. Better. This is, yeah, the fourth pair for the Sock Madness. The Sock Madness is a sock knitting competition, and we're now in the second round, and with these socks I made it to the third round, which I'm very pleased about, because I was at some point I was like contemplating whether I should finish these or not. So these are the All the Bees socks, and well, they are absolutely beautiful, I have to say now, once they're finished, but they were hard to knit. And I'm not the only one who's saying that, because actually quite a lot of participants gave up during that round, and that is because the whole sock is charted. So you have to follow the chart for the whole sock. So it's not mindless at all. You have to be very careful to really follow it. It includes beads, two different colors of beads, bobbles, slip stitches, cables. Am I missing anything? Oh, and brioche. So let's start with brioche. It's the first time ever I've done brioche, and I have to say, oh my god, I love it. I really want to make a full garment with brioche because I love the look of it. Then the beads. So you had the option. So what is really just beaded here is the upper part of the leg, and then there's one more repeat, I think. So there's one more diamond. And the whole foot. You had the option to bead the whole socks. I just went with the minimum amount of beads that we had to do to participate at the Sock Madness, because yeah, after I think there are 90 beads or something in the first part of the leg, and I was like, yeah, that's enough. They take up quite some time to put on, and as much as I like the look of it, I think it's also not very practical to have them on the foot if you ever want to wear these socks in shoes. So I think that I thought it was more practical after all. You start the socks with a provisional cast on, and it's something like super nice because you do a provisional cast on, but at the same time you do like it looks like a tubular cast on. It's probably a tubular cast on, to be honest. And at the same time you're placing beads on the first, on the cast on edge, and they literally, because of the color of this like burnt orange, they look like crowns. I feel like every time I look at them they look like a crown. I love that look. The yarn that I use, before I forget, I really have to mention it. This is a yarn by my dear friend Marina from StrawberryPatches. She's got a knitting podcast herself. So that's her. That's the logo of her business. So she's an indie dyer and a knitter, and she spins as well. Yeah, absolutely. I really love watching her podcast. She's got very nice content on her channel. So she sent me this beautiful skein of superwash merino and nylon sock yarn. So it's an 80-20 blend, and the feel of it is absolutely, oh, I love it. It's like squishy and it's got structure, but at the same time it was so soft for the hands. If it wouldn't have been, I think if I would have done that with like a very splitty, uncomfortable yarn, I would have probably not gone and finished them. But actually, because I really loved the look of the socks, in combination with these golden beads, I was like, yeah, I really have to finish them because they will look nice at the end of the day. It's just that they took a lot of concentration, to be honest. And they used a lot of yarn as well, so I've only got just a little bit left. I have these 2 balls left because so for the Sock Madness you have to knit a certain length just so it is fair for everybody who's participating, especially for the ones who are knitting bigger, so the next size, they will obviously knit longer on their bigger size socks. So therefore the smaller size socks, depending which size they have, but this time we had to knit a medium size socks, and we had to knit 14 rows just to get like to same amount of stitches that the others were knitting. So what I did, I inserted a lifeline on both socks whilst I was knitting them. So before knitting the the foot extension rows, I inserted a lifeline, finished them, and as soon as they were approved as soon as I was approved for the next round, I ripped them back straight away and just shortened them, and therefore I've got a bit of bit more left over. But I don't mind that. This will be perfect for like a heel or a cuff on a different kind of sock. So yeah, I will definitely use that up. And for these socks I used the Nova Cubics. I mentioned them last time, and actually I had a few people asking me about them. So these are KnitPro needles. They are metal needles. You can also get them in, I think, in wood. And they are, instead of being like a round needle like all needles are, or most of them are, this one is rectangular shaped. So the needle itself is like shaped like a square, if that makes sense. And they are really handy when you, well, I found them very nice to work with, especially with a bit of a difficult pattern where you had a lot of slip stitches and cables and stuff like that. I really found that really handy. I managed to bend them quite a bit with this pair of socks, and that is, and I know I'm not the only one. I know quite a few people have this problem. So yeah, they are not very straight anymore. I don't know if you can see it, probably can't, but they have been used heavily, and I'm definitely gonna continue using these. I really found them good to knit with, especially with last month I had quite a lot of arm pain, and I figured actually out it's not because of my knitting but it's mainly because me working on the laptop, which I'm not very used to. So that has been quite hard on my arms, and these have been very handy for that. The other thing that I've been using whilst knitting this pair of sock is a DPN tube, and I'm actually thinking about making a few of these like sewing. I know, so you can very easily use like scrap fabric and sew your own, but this one is just one that I bought as well. So this is a DPN tube. So basically, let's imagine that, okay? Because I have a sock project that I'm working on at the moment. Let's imagine these socks would be like, these stitches would be on this sock needle. So I'm just basically poking them through now, just for your, so you can see it. So sometimes when you're on the go, you might just like throw it in a project bag, and then you end up with maybe, you might lose a few stitches because of the movement of the bag or something. So what I usually do when I'm going somewhere, I usually try at least to roll them up so they're a bit more secure, and then sometimes I poke one end of that in like a ball of yarn. So sometimes I do it like that way, so that at least they're a bit secure. But I think from now on I will always use these DPN tubes, just because they are very, very handy to keep your stitches safe. So basically you put the needles into the tube. So now it won't work, there we go. And then you slide, so you can slide the sock in there, and then you can close the other side as well. There we go. And now your stitches are secure, so they can't come off on either side of the sock, and you can just easily take them with you on a plane, on a train ride, and you don't have to worry about getting your sock project out and you have to pick up all the stitches again. I'm usually out and about quite a bit in normal times, so I will be using that more, and I will definitely have a look at some sewing patterns, just because it's nice maybe to make your own instead of having a shop bought one. So I'm very curious for the next round. I don't know what we can expect for the next round. Hoping, I don't know if I should hope for color work or for more beads. I still have got a lot of beads, but a bit of a change would be nice. But I'm not too really fuzzy. I can knit whatever they give me. So I'm looking forward to the next round, which should be starting today. And these are all my efforts for this episode, as far as I know. My next category is my works in progress, and at the moment I've got several projects on my needles, but some of them are a bit more parked. The other ones I haven't progressed much, so I will only show you one work in progress. And I've been talking about that in my last 2 episodes, but I haven't shown you anything because I hadn't started at the time. But now I can finally show you the start of my Poisoned Apple Top by Lily Kate. I'm test knitting this new pattern, pattern for her. So this is a pattern. It's a top. It's got like a sheer panel in the front where you're using just one strand of mohair, and therefore it's like a bit like see-through. And then you're using a DK weight yarn for the rest. It's got a lovely like keyhole opening in the back, which looks super beautiful. And then you have pleats on the sleeves as well. So quite a few different techniques. And I have started a couple of days ago, and this is my progress so far. So this is the back panel, and yesterday I just picked up the front stitches, and I'm working this sheer panel on one side. It doesn't look like much at the moment, but it's knitting up so quick. I am quite amazed by that. It's so fun as well to knit, I really have to say. I'm using some beautiful yarn for that. It took me quite a while to find a good DK weight yarn, and I don't know why that's the case, because I know there's lovely DK weight yarn out there, but I couldn't find anything that I really liked. Like, I didn't want to go too rustic for that, because it's gonna be like a summer top. I should be quite wearable during like hotter temperatures, so I didn't want to go like for 100% wool. On the other hand, I wanted the top to have some structure, especially because of the pleated sleeves, so I didn't want to. It would have probably worked in some ways, but I didn't want to go for a cotton yarn, for example, just because I have another project with cotton yarn on my nails that, it's just parked there because I'm not so much loving it. So it took me quite some time to find the right yarn, and then I discovered this one. It is the Milburn DK. It's a yarn by Eden Cottage yarns, 85% blue face Leicester and 15% silk, and it's got 112 meters or 122 yards per 50 grams. This is what I've been looking for. This is so perfect for this project. I can't tell you about it. It's amazing. So I can show you here on the swatch. It's got such a beautiful shine to it. This color, I mean, you probably have seen my yellow Amarouk sweater, then you've probably seen my yellow Lubelle sweater, so you might know that I really like this sort of like mustardy yellow. The colorway is called Harvest Gold, and yeah, the combination of wool and silk is amazing. This has got like a beautiful shine. The stitch definition is amazing. I've swatched here in different needle sizes, and luckily I got gauged with the needle size described in the pattern, so I like the fabric for that. I was worried that I had to go up a needle size, but I didn't, which I'm happy about, because then it would have been a bit too loose for my taste. And yeah, the only mistake that I did is I ordered, so the pattern calls for over 600 meters, so 600 and I can't really remember, like 610, something around this for my size. And I was looking at different kind of DK weight yarns before, and for some reason I really didn't check the yardage for this yarn, and then I only ordered 5 balls, so I've only got 560 meters. I know that I would probably maybe get away with it just by making it a bit shorter, and I know that Lily always puts, like, I think a certain percentage of buffer in, just in case you need a bit of more yarn, but I didn't want to chance it. And then especially I know that once you have ordered something with a certain dye lot, I didn't want to chance it that it wouldn't be available afterwards. So today I just ordered another skein of, or another ball of this one, which I'm awaiting to receive. And then they had other things there that caught my name, so I might have ordered a bit more wool, but that's okay. I'm knitting loads at the moment. I'm actually knitting quite a lot of from my stash as well. So the yarn that, so the mohair that I'm using, so you use a strand of lace weight yarn. It's up to you what you use. So if you use a mohair, it is not completely see-through. If you use a different kind of yarn, it might be a bit more see-through. And I have this onion silk and kid mohair from my Lubelle sweater. I ordered way too many for that. So I have that still in my stash, and I'm really happy. You really need just a small, very, very small amount of the silk mohair. So I am very pleased that I can use this. I've got more than enough, so that's what I'm using, and I can't wait for this to be finished. I'm hurrying up just because I want to see it. And whilst I was, so when I first ordered the Milburn DK, which I'm using for the poisoned apple top, I was on the website and I saw another skein that I really like the look of, and that brings me to my acquisitions. And I got this skein of what is it called? Pendle 4-ply. It's 100% superwash merino, and I love the color. And whilst I was ordering, I wasn't being careful. I wanted to use that for a pair of socks, and now I realize it's 100% merino, and I want to give that to somebody who is a bit maybe not so caring about hand knits. So I'm not too sure. What do you think? Can I make socks out of 100% superwash merino? I want him to be able to, so it's for my brother. I want him to be able to wear the socks, but then I'm thinking, if I make him something out of that, he might not be able to wear them, or if he would wear them a lot, they might not wear that well, and they would get holes. So I'm a bit disappointed that I didn't care. Well, that I didn't look more careful for what it is. So I literally just realized before when I was doing my notes for this episode, I was like, oh no, that's a bummer. Never mind. So I love the color, and if these are not going to be socks, there will be something else. I'll find something to make out of it. That could be beautiful, and like a scarf or something, like a shawl. I always love wearing shawls, and then I never make one for myself, I've never, besides of one shawl, I've never really knitted shawls before. So that might be a good idea. I could use it to make a shawl for me. And And whilst you're talking about acquisitions, I want to show you something funny. Alright, I feel a bit awkward showing you that, but actually it's been quite handy. So lately, especially when I was knitting this top, the Senecio top, and then also whilst I was knitting on the Sock Madness sock, I had the problem that in the evening when we're sitting here watching TV and we have like the lights dimmed, I was having trouble to see my stitches and to see my pattern. I'm probably getting to an age where you feel like you have to be a bit more careful with the eyes, and I really don't want to. I really want to be careful with the eyes. So I know it's not very good to be like doing things without in the darkness, reading and well, looking at patterns. So I got some knitting lights. This is weird. So one evening I was like, oh, there must be a solution to that, and I went online, looked for knitting light, and actually these are like reading lights. So yeah, I just ordered these. Absolutely weird, I know. My partner finds it hilarious. Can I get them on? There we go. So you can put on different kind of light settings, brighter, less brighter. You can put like clear white lights, and you can put them like yellow. God, I just really know how to do it. Yeah, so you've got two lights, so there you can put only one side on, for example, if somebody's sitting next to you and you don't want to disturb it, and then you can have the light shining a bit to the side. And they've been handy, and I quite like them, to be honest. I will definitely use them until they break, and then I'm planning already on getting other ones. Yes, I am, because they're good. They're good. They could be a bit better, to be honest, but they do their job. So there are different ones on the internet that you can buy, and I just went for some that had good reviews. So quite handy, and I actually use it every evening. So if you have the same problem, definitely have a look at reading lights, because it is so much easier. It's so much easier. And for example, when we're watching TV, if I say, oh, can I put the light on, we only have got like a very bright light, that's not comfortable to be sitting in like almost daylight. So I think it's a very good tool whilst you're knitting. Even though I feel absolutely hilarious when I had a very good laugh when they arrived and I tried them for the first time. So, and these are the acquisitions. What brings me now to the next category, and these are like my recommendations or inspirations. So today I've got a couple of podcasters that I would like to share with you, and a designer. Let's start with podcasters first. So the first one that I really enjoyed watching the last couple of weeks is Aleksandra from Fibre. She lives in Adelaide in Australia, and I love her style of knitting. She's got very nice aesthetics, and her way as well of presenting, and also her podcast itself is very well made. Something that I really enjoy. So when I watch other podcasters, I always like to see how they do things. So I'm quite interested in how to make things look nice, and she has got really nice aesthetics, and she's also a test knitter. So quite a few things that she was talking about I could really relate to her, which is very nice. Definitely somebody to check out. And then the next one that I would like to mention is Uniko knits. So that is Gosia. I hope I say your name right. Gosia is a knitter and indie dyer. I think she might be weaving, so I'm not too spinning. I'm not too sure. She lives on an island in the middle of the Baltic Sea, and I love her style of, she chooses such beautiful colors for her projects, and her yarn looks amazing as well. She was saying something in the last episode, I think it was, that she went for colors that she wouldn't normally go for, but then she thought like this pattern really required this sort of like popping color, and I have to admit her choice of colors is just great. If you like colorful, not only colorful, she's got like also non so colorful, she does a lot of pastel as well and pastel colors, but I love her style of knitting. She's a very talented knitter, and she sews a bit as well, so that's nice. I sew a tiny bit, just the occasional project bag, or I've only done 2. Make it sound like I've done many. And also it's nice to see other people as well, like trying out different things. And then I would like to talk about Anna from the Bluebird box. She actually reached out to me because she has a coupon code, or like a discount code for you, for my viewers, which I found very, very nice. So I've been following Anna now for quite some time now, and she's got an Instagram account where she shares her designs, and she also sells patterns on Ravelry. So Anna has been, she lives in Canada, and she's got a family, and you can sometimes see her kids on her pattern pictures as well. I think these are her kids, but you can at least see them in the story sometimes. And she, I think she published her first pattern like 10 years ago, and then stopped for like 7 years, and then just started writing patterns again in 2020. And she's got very, very beautiful different designs for children and also now for adults. I think she is bringing out a summer top soon, like a very nice one. I don't have a picture of that one. I've had pictures of other patterns of hers, so you can I will include them here. But if you want to see her summer top that she will be releasing, I will put like a link down below if you want to have a look at it. And the one that I really liked of hers is the Sunshower Pullover. That's a pattern for a colorwork sweater for children from I think like 1 year till 12 or 14 years. So that would even fit a like XS women, which is quite cool. And then I'm in between, so I would either knit that one, or she's got a very beautiful cardigan for children as well, which is called the Lennox cardigan, and that goes from 3 months to 12 years as well. So I'm actually tempted to, so this is sort of like in my knitting list now, because I know somebody, I know I would like to give the cardigan to somebody, but I just need to find a time. At the moment I've got no time to start another project. But yeah, so she was so kind to offer a discount code for my viewers. So if you would like to purchase one of her patterns, you can just use free as sheep 25 in her Ravelry store, and that will give you a 25% discount until I think the 17th of May. So loads of time for you to use that one, but if you would like to try one of her patterns, I'm very thankful that she's giving you that discount, and maybe it is helpful for you. I haven't knit any of her designs yet, so I can't really tell you about that, but the patterns or the pictures that I've seen are very beautiful. And she does a lot of like accessories as well. I think she's got quite a few hats and mittens. Oh, I saw one of her mittens that is very beautiful, like an advent mitten. yeah, so thank you, Anna, and yeah, hopefully you can get some use out of that. And then the last thing that I would like to share with you, or maybe yeah, recommend you, if you're like, we often when we are sitting here in the evening, maybe having dinner or just having a chat, we put a fireplace on our TV, just because we don't have a real fireplace, so we like to put like a fireplace on just for a nice atmosphere. And then this week I discovered I've been following her quite some time now, but I've been she's a Icelandic travel photographer, and she's called Ása. I can't remember her last name. Yeah, and she's very, very talented, and she made a video, or like a 1 hour video, of the volcanic eruption that is going on in Iceland at the moment. So if you would like to have something just running on your screen while you're just relaxing, and this is quite something. I was so impressed by the pictures. I'm definitely gonna do that as well. I've been watching it today in the morning just whilst I was having breakfast. And yeah, maybe that's something for you, which would be nice and cozy for you to watch whilst we can't travel. Maybe we can at least imagine being there. Yeah, oof, I've talked a lot, and I think that's it for this episode. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you again for coming here and spending your time with me. And as I said before, you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry, and I would be very, very thankful if you could subscribe to this channel, because that helps me a bit. And yeah, maybe you can recommend it to your friends. That would be amazing as well. I'm very, very thankful for your support, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you, and bye-bye. Darkness comes, it's gone. When the darkness comes, it's gone. Season